Hey everyone, Aaron Rift here from NoDQ.com. This is NoDQ.com's prediction video for WWE Backlash, the return of Backlash after a 7-year absence, the first SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view of the new brand extension era. I am being joined by a panel of guests. First, I would like to welcome back to the NoDQ channel after a several-week absence, good old JM, Jeff Meacham. How are you doing, Jeff?
Rumors of my demise have been greatly exaggerated, ladies and gentlemen. I am back, and I said it on Twitter. I apologize for my absence between being sick as a dog the last 2 weeks and commitments with my new job and school and Dylan in general. I apologize for not being here, but I am here. I am ready to do predictions for this oh-so-extravagant, lackluster show.
Yeah. We only have 6 matches for this pay-per-view. We'll get to that in a minute here. I also want to introduce everyone to David Payne, who was on for the last video, the SmackDown, or excuse me, the SummerSlam review video. David, how are you doing today?
Pretty well, thanks, Aaron. And good to see you back again, Jeff. I'm glad you're feeling better.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so let's get to this pay-per-view Backlash. We have 6 matches announced. There was some breaking news during Talking Smack. American Alpha, due to the attack by the Usos, the newly heel-turned Usos, American Alpha has been pulled from the Backlash pay-per-view, and it was announced by Shane McMahon that there will be a second chance match at Backlash. Basically, we will have the Usos versus the Hype Brothers, with the winning team going on later in the night to face Heath Slater and Rhino for the tag team titles. So let's go ahead and give our predictions for that first match. Hype Brothers versus the Usos. Jeff, I'll go ahead and start with you.
Aaron, you're showing your white. And what I mean by that is you're calling them the Hype Brothers. It's the Hype Bros. They never call them brothers. It's bros, number one. Number 2, I don't foresee any circumstance where either one of these teams, the Hype Bros or the Usos, is going to defeat Heath Slater and Rhino. So I don't even care who wins this match. So I'll just go on a limb and say the Usos win to get their momentum back for losing, and they will be the ones to face in a losing effort, the new SmackDown Tag Team Champions, Heath Slater and Rhino.
Okay, what about you, David? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I just echo Jeff. I mean, that's pretty much written on paper. I think going into this, I thought maybe the American Alpha, they're going to get the big push. They pulled the plug on that, and now I think it's just, I think it's going to be the Usos against Mr. Slater, who's got some momentum right now, so, and Rhino Isn't Rhino running for office in Dearborn, Michigan? I didn't know he had time to do this.
Yeah, he is. He even had Kurt Angle endorse him in that YouTube video. Initially, I thought that we were going to have the American Alpha win the tag team titles at this pay-per-view, even though a lot of people might look at Heath Slater as the sentimental favorite. And that's why I thought it was really interesting to have those two teams go at it, because who are the fans going to side with? The fans love American Alpha, but Heath Slater's been really over as of late. It looks like WWE decided to change things up here, have the Usos finally go heel. This is something that fans have been wanting to see for a very long time now. 2 Samoans down, 1 to go, right, guys? So we have the Usos as heels now. That changes things up. What I think is going to happen now is the Usos will, in fact, beat the Hype Bros. Got it right there, Jeff. Usos win, and then what I think is going to happen, my prediction for the second match is that American Alpha, either Gable or Jordan, or both of them, will come out and cost the Usos the tag team titles, and we will get the big feel-good moment. Heath Slater finally gets his SmackDown contract, and he's able to transfer into a double wide from his single wide. That's what I think is going to happen.
There you go. Brilliant.
Right.
Yeah,
so
that's pretty much it.
All right. So let's move on here and talk about the other matches. At this point, we do not have a pre-show match lined up. I'm sure WWE at the last minute will throw in 1 or 2 more matches to this card, but obviously whatever matches get added were not important enough to be announced on SmackDown. So we're just going to cover the matches that WWE actually dedicated television time to. So let's move on here. Let's talk about the singles match between the Eater of Words, Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton. On SmackDown, we had Bray Wyatt cut a promo in a smoke-filled room. Maybe he was hotboxing. I'm not sure what he was doing. He cut this weird promo saying that he's a god and he is now the predator and Randy Orton is going to be the prey. I look at this match and I think that it's just a way for Randy Orton to rebound from SummerSlam. Now, a lot of people will say Bray Wyatt really needs the win, which is why I'm a little perplexed as to why WWE would book this match when both guys really need a win. But at the end of the day, Orton's the bigger star, and I'm going to go with Orton to win this. So, Jeff, I'll go ahead and start with you, your predictions, and then, David, you can go ahead when Jeff is finished.
I agree. Honestly, no matter how much Eater of Worlds is going to sit there and claim he's a god, at the end of the day, he is not high man on the totem pole. Randy Orton is when it comes to SmackDown. He is, with John Cena out and AJ Styles being, yes, he's the number one contender, but he's pretty much the butt of the joke at this point. Randy Orton's the top star on SmackDown. He's the top predator, if you want to call him that. So for him to lose after getting beaten so soundly last month at SummerSlam would be a complete hindrance to his progress if he's going to do anything main event level in the near future. So I think Orton's going to come in on top as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. Orton's definitely going to win the match. I mean, I wouldn't say he's probably the most protected out of the bunch, but I still think AJ is the number one spot. I think everybody's done with Ambrose, and AJ's going to be the guy, but they're going to protect Orton, and they're going to make him look good until that rematch with Brock eventually happens. At least that's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, they have the Orton versus Lesnar rematch set up for Chicago, the live event the night before Clash of Champions. And also, you know, you brought up AJ. If AJ is going to win the title either at Backlash or the next pay-per-view, WWE is going to need some top faces lined up, and you know Randy Orton would be right there at the top to challenge AJ Styles, and that's one feud we haven't seen yet. So you got to protect Randy Orton if you're going to build up AJ as the top heel on SmackDown. So we're all going with Orton to win. That sucks for Bray Wyatt, but I mean that is the story of his career. It seems he gets into a feud with somebody, and then he loses, and then he moves on to the next guy, cuts a scary promo, and loses again. All right.
Yeah. The brothers Rotunda aren't doing very well with their careers here lately.
Yeah, well, I guess Bo Dallas has his new little renewed push. We'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on here to the women's match. It's now a six-pack challenge, elimination-style match. We have Alexa Bliss versus Becky Lynch versus Carmella versus Naomi versus Natalya versus Nikki Bella. Now, here's my prediction for the order of elimination. First off, I think Nikki Bella is going to flat out win this thing. Based off of SmackDown, she tapped out to Carmella in the six women's match. And because of that, I think Nikki's going to be the heavy favorite to win this. I know Becky's going to be the sentimental favorite by a lot of fans, but I think with Nikki getting this big push and with Total Bellas coming up, and Total Divas returning as well. You know, they're going to want to get publicity for those shows, and therefore Nikki's going to win. But my prediction for the elimination, the order, I think that a face will be the first one out, so the heels will have an advantage, even though it's every woman for herself. I'm thinking that Naomi will be the first person eliminated, and then probably Alexa Bliss, since it looks like Carmella is getting more of a push, but with the 50-50 booking and even Steven and all that, we could see Carmella being the first woman out. And then what I think is going to happen is Becky Lynch will be eliminated by Natalya, and that will set up Natalya versus Nikki as the final two, with Nikki coming out on top. So, Jeff, I'll go ahead and start with you, and then, David, you give your thoughts. Jeff, what do you think?
Well, smart money would have Nikki and Carmella be the final two, because they've been the ones that have been really the focal point of the women's division on SmackDown. They've been the ones that have been going back and forth, while the other four have been in matches but not been the focal point. So I think it'll come down to those two. And as far as elimination before that, I think I agree with you, Aaron, that a babyface will be eliminated first, so it could be either Naomi or Becky. But based on recent history, Becky's the sentimental favorite, as you said. So it'll probably be Naomi first, and then either Alexa or Natty, and then Becky, and then either Alexa or Natty, and then it'll come down to Nikki pinning Carmella.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't mean to be a broken record, but I definitely agree with that as well. You know, I'm not. I guess if I'm being picky, I'm not a huge fan of the SmackDown women's division. There's only really maybe 2 women that I like, and of course I'm gonna throw Natty in there because I think she's like a good wrestler, you know. But of course she's not gonna get a push. They're trying to push her as a heel, but I'm just not feeling it, you know. But then again, I didn't feel AJ as a heel at first, and now I'm kind of, you know, now he's kind of fitting in. But yeah, it's gonna go to the sentimental favorite. But you know, this was SmackDown women's division.
I want to ask you guys, I'll start with you, Jeff. Did you guys enjoy that match on SmackDown? I thought when they were all in there together, it was a little bit of a train wreck. Excuse me. What did you think, Jeff?
Well, I haven't seen all of SmackDown yet. I'm going to catch it here on the West Coast, but from what I saw in the highlights, it looked like it was very much a train wreck. It was kind of a complete clusterfuck. Not to be swearing, but it's what it was.
Yeah. Watch out, Jeff, because YouTube is cracking down on profanity in videos now. You're going to get my video pulled or demonetized or something, so you better be careful. What
I'll
about
make up the cost for you, just to dock my pay for the month. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. What about you, David? What did you think of that match on SmackDown?
You'll have to break out the air horn. Yeah, no, it was a complete train wreck, and you know, I mean, it's just one of those things where they're not involved in too many of those matches. Maybe they've worked them at house shows, but you got to remember every spot, and you got to know what time to do what, and really the referee's job, I think, to be, you know, to kind of help along with that. But yeah, you know, it was definitely a train wreck.
Yeah, we really haven't seen a match like this with 6 women in there, so I'm really hoping that everything goes well in that match. I mean, it does have the potential to be a bit of a disaster if things get chaotic and people get confused in the melee. One last thing I wanted to add regarding this match. You know what? I think that's it. I think that's all I really have to say about it. Oh, there is one thing I wanted to add. You know, my concern, you know, Jeff, you brought up Becky Lynch possibly being the first one out. If that happens, I mean, my fear is that it would be a repeat of the Elimination Chamber from December to Dismember when RVD got eliminated, and then the whole match just fell apart and the crowd just completely turned on it. That's my fear. If Becky Lynch is eliminated first, I think the crowd might very well turn on that entire match. So they got to be real careful with the booking, and hopefully everything's worked out well with the match and it's not too much of a train wreck.
Well, it's funny you mentioned RVD because I'm wearing the RVD shirt. But, yeah, I agree. If they have Becky Lynch be the first one out, period, it'll be a complete mess from there.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on here. One more match before the main event. We have The Miz defending the IC title against Dolph Ziggler. I really, personally, do not care about this match at all. I'm just not feeling the feud between the two of them. I could see Dolph Ziggler winning the title since he, like Randy Orton, needs a rebound after losing at SummerSlam, and Miz has been champion for a while. Although Miz is getting the big push right now, coming off of talking smack in that promo on Daniel Bryan, although that's already cooling off. So I really don't care who wins this match at this point. I really don't. I mean, I guess if I had to make a prediction, I would go with Ziggler to win, but I'm really not caring who wins at this point. And I'll start with you, Jeff. What do you think? And then, David, your thoughts.
I think it's more important to find out who gets the KFC endorsement going forward between the two.
Yeah, exactly. I think it would be more entertaining if it was Colonel Ziggler versus the Chicken. They might as well just do that match on the pay-per-view. I would care more about the match, quite frankly.
They should. I care about both of these guys. I care about the Miz's Intercontinental Championship reign because he is doing his damnedest to elevate the Intercontinental Championship back to where it was. And Ziggler's coming off a valiant effort at SummerSlam against Dean Ambrose. He had a good match. But I don't know. I think if I'm really gonna toss a coin and just call. I'm gonna guess like you said there. I'm gonna go with Ziggler.
All right, what about you?
You know what? I don't know. I'll go the opposite. I'll say the Miz just because maybe they want to stretch this out just a little bit longer, you know. And quite frankly, shame on WWE for not taking that type seriously. I mean, yeah, Miz is doing what he can. He's doing what he can on the mic. But I remember that belt used to be for the best wrestlers, and maybe Ziggler, if he can carry it for a while, maybe he can have some good matches and elevate the title again. What we used to like, Aaron and Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is The Miz was already IC champion, and it did nothing for him. So now it's just like two guys fighting over a title that really means nothing at this stage of the game, which is very unfortunate.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. So that's it for that. Let's move on here to the main event. We have Dean Ambrose, Dean Mother Effin Ambrose, made sure not to swear on that, versus the soccer mom, AJ Styles. I'm not too thrilled about the build-up for this match. It seems like they were doing an awful lot of comedy leading up to this, complete with low blows. We had AJ getting crotched last week, and then this week AJ kicks Dean Ambrose in the nuts and then breaks the participation trophy that Dean Ambrose gave him. And that was the end of SmackDown. It was very anticlimactic. And I know the match is going to be great, but I personally thought the build-up was weak. As far as a prediction goes, I think it's time for AJ to win the title. I mean, I could see Ambrose somehow retaining, but coming off of SummerSlam and beating John Cena, I think it's time. I think you got to go with AJ Styles, beat Dean Ambrose clean in the middle to become the new champion, and then have Cena come back. You can do Cena versus AJ one more time, although I'm not so sure how that one's going to end in a positive way for AJ Styles fans. But then you can also do AJ versus Randy Orton. There's so many different possibilities you can do with AJ as champion, have all the baby faces come at him. I think it's time for a title change. I think AJ should definitely win the title this Sunday. Jeff, start with you, and then David, your thoughts. Jeff, go ahead.
Aaron, you and I have been watching AJ Styles together, PWG and TNA for whatever it's been, 14 years now. Before, his favorite thing to do was to beat up John Cena. What was AJ's favorite thing to do?
Botch XMV promos?
Yes. No. Win championships. That's what AJ Styles did his entire TNA career, was win championships. Since he's come to WWE, he's been very lukewarm. He's had a lot of momentum, and a lot of people are behind him, but he's not had the big moment. He had his moment in the Royal Rumble, and that was one thing. But I agree with you. They should pull the trigger now and have him be the new WWE World Champion after Sunday.
Yeah, I totally agree. Right now, he's got the momentum. And you know what? You got to combat some of the, because you're right, it turned into, it looked like a mid-card comedy segment, and you made fun of the guy, so now you start to lose credibility. The only way to get credibility back, he's got to win now. Not only does he got to win now, I anticipate him maybe keeping the belt all the way to Royal Rumble, perhaps WrestleMania, and then having that big match that he deserves. I mean, he's not getting any younger, so I think if you're going to do it soon.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the momentum's with AJ, and it's time to pull the trigger on him. And Ambrose, in my opinion, has definitely cooled off as champion. Time to go with AJ as the guy now. The face, truly make him the face that runs the place by having him win the title. All right, so that'll wrap it up for our predictions. Now, I'm sure there will be one or two more matches added. Any predictions on that? Jeff, what do you think? You think they'll Baron Corbin?
I'll be honest with you. With all that's going on, I haven't watched a whole lot of SmackDown, but I would definitely get at least one more match on the pre-show, because 6 matches is not going to carry you through 3 hours unless they are really quality matches the whole way through. Yeah, you've got an elimination match. Yeah, you've got, at the end of the day, 2 tag team matches that'll carry you through. But if they're going to have a match on the pre-show, they got to add something. I would, who's on SmackDown? Maybe Breezango against one of the other teams lost in the tournament.
Right. David, anything you would like to see added to this card?
No, not really. I was just going to say it's probably going to be something lame like, Fandango versus whoever, maybe Corbin, or maybe we'll see another squash match, just like a 2-minute match. Who knows? I don't really care.
Maybe come out and choke slam a bunch of people.
There you go.
Yeah, or they'll do another promo or something with Eva Marie with her coming back. I don't know. Well, I think she's still got more time. She's not going to be back in time for that. But all right. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, this isn't exactly the most stellar pay-per-view card WWE has produced. Definitely a sign that the roster's a bit thin. It feels like it's missing something, some kind of big marquee match. But whatever. We're not paying $50 like the old days. I mean, there's no way I think that this kind of card would have been a success back in the the old era when pay-per-views were $50+, but now it's $9.99. So who cares? I mean, whatever. It's just more content we're getting for $9.99. So it's hard to complain all that much. All right. So before we go here, Jeff, I know you want to plug your site or whatever, your Twitter page, anything you want to plug?
Yeah, just find me at Twitter/_ Jeff Meacham. I will be doing at least a Talk Wrestling this week. I got a ton of questions in the queue. After the bell, since we covered TV for this week with this show, probably not after the bell till next week.
Okay. David, any plugs you want to get out there?
Yeah, if you want to follow me at SmartMark420, I'll be glad to add you, talk wrestling, whatever. And, oh, yeah, I'll be seeing you very soon this weekend in Cleveland for the big CM Punk fight.
That's right. We'll be there, UFC 203. We will be having a meetup. You can message me on Facebook for the event link. I think I'll also post it in the description box. Come hang out with us if you're going to be in the Cleveland area. Jeff, you're invited too if you want to buy a plane ticket and fly out there. Mike Nagel will be there. It's going to be a fun time. What was that, Jeff?
I said thank you. I'll be watching the Buffalo Wild Wings for $5.
Okay, well, you might be the smart one of the group of us here just watching it at Buffalo Wild Wings. Who knows? Since I have you guys on here, we'll add this on real quick since it is this weekend. Jeff, I'll start with you, and then David. Any predictions for the CM Punk fight?
As far as a winner, no, because it's honestly hard to call without having seen him in a previous fight, and I haven't seen a lot of his opponent, honestly. I would say that Punk will make a good showing, and that we're all we as wrestling fans will be very surprised at how the fight turns out.
Okay, so you think it's going to be more than just like a 60-second fight where Punk just gets embarrassed?
Like I said, I think Punk is truly, despite what we think of him now being gone for over 2 years, I think that he really took this seriously. I watched the special on Fox. It was an interview with a friend of mine that used to work with the Kings, Carlin, and she really did her research, and he's really worked hard to get here. And I think that he's going to show us something we weren't expecting on Saturday.
All right, cool. David, what about you?
Yeah, well, he's 2 years now. I think one time was an injury. Another time, I think maybe they felt he wasn't ready. But, Mickey Gall's opponent, I believe, has 2 MMA fights under him. I think that's really going to play a key. And I think CM Punk, I like to say he'll last to a decision, but I'm looking somewhere towards the middle or the end of the second round. I hope he makes it. I mean, I'm a huge Punk fan, but, this is real fighting now. You get hit in the face, it's a whole different ball game.
Exactly. And we're all just hoping that he has a good showing and that he can prove everyone that he's tough and he can hang with the professional fighters. So we'll see what happens with that. Thank you all for watching the video today. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest, and we will see you guys this weekend for UFC coverage as well as WWE Backlash coverage.